And it's just amazing that we didn't do this sooner, what with it being the current year and all.
We really should have done this sooner, it being the current year.
Yeah, I mean, like, it might have even been better if it had been the current year a year ago and we had done this.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, I'm just afraid to say 2019 because I have no idea when you're going to upload this.
Well, I can guarantee you that whenever I do, at some point, I'm going to just be like, well, it's the current year. I should probably get this uploaded.
That is true.
Do we want to talk about the thing that we were just talking about at all, or should we just completely like run off on a tangent?
Well, I mean, I
Because
think
we're going to
that-
talk about the whole thing at some point.
Yeah, we definitely are. I think it's worth a whole episode. I think that you will agree with that once you finish watching the whole thing. So we were talking about the Bush Baby, the TV show, because we did an episode on it about a year ago, and in between now and the last couple of days when you posted it, apparently someone found or had a copy of the English dub of the Bush Baby and uploaded it to YouTube, and we have started like going through it because I haven't seen it in 25 years. And you've seen maybe a little bit of it, but not the whole thing.
I might have seen a lot of it and just don't remember anything yet. I'll have to get deeper into it before I'll really start to recognize anything. But that might be one that I didn't see much of at all, because that was the one that it only broadcast on
on Canadian television, TV Ontario, which
Yeah,
wasn't
so-
available in Southgate.
So I may have caught like one,
Yeah.
and that's about it. But yeah, it was. So it was like a year of you constantly reminding me to post the discussion that we had on fan subs and anime, and just by chance and by chance alone, through some miracle, I didn't until just recently. And if I had posted it a year ago,
We wouldn't have found it.
Yeah, we wouldn't have found this on YouTube.
Yeah,
It's just
'cause it-
sitting up there on YouTube.
Well, I mean, it was posted 10 months ago.
Yeah,
Like
and I
it
would've-
is almost exactly like we would have almost exactly missed it. We would have looked for it. We would not have found it, and we would have been like, okay, well, we give up.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I've kind of looked for it a little bit every couple of years, and I've never found anybody that had a copy of it until now. So
Yeah,
this is
and,
a big friggin' deal.
And not only that, but as we'll talk about probably next week, it's amazing.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's not just
really
one of
good.
them things where like,
It's-
oh, this was
yeah.
a fun kids show. No. This show is like this is like a top quality cartoon for the time.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I mean, it's
Story-wise.
it's well, so it's based off of a novel by what's his name, Stevenson. Yeah, no, it might
Something
actually
Stevenson.
it might actually be William Stevenson, but hold on, let me look it up.
Look it up.
Looking it up,
I mean, we should already know this.
William
It is the-
Stevenson. Yeah, so does Bill.
Huh. That was just a guess.
Yeah, I know. And you probably knew it because you
Because it's the current year.
deep down. Yeah, it's the
How
current
could we
year.
not know?
How could you not? So that was so. From what I understand, this particular series was one of several series that were based on kind of late, kind of like recent or semi-recent literature from England and America. They did a few series of this, like
Heidi.
yeah, Heidi was one of them.
I actually know a place where I can get the box set for Heidi.
Nice. Is it good? Have you seen it?
I have not seen it, but given that it was the same studio, I'm willing to bet that it was really good. I don't think it was ever done in English, though. The box set I'm thinking of actually has this.
Yeah.
It has Heidi, and I think it has this, too. It's like got all three of the things that they did, but it's the Japanese copy.
No. Well, that wouldn't be too much of a stopper for us at this point. But
Yeah, no, it really wouldn't. Now that I know that this is on it, I'm probably going to go see if they still have it at that little... It's at that Retro Taku place.
Oh, they have a copy at Retro Taku?
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't know that was there.
It was $184, though.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered, man.
Well, not for you, but like I was looking at it like I could afford this. But
It wouldn't have mattered when I was in grad school. If I had known that it had Bush Baby on it, I would have bought it.
I guess that is true.
Yeah, like I didn't see this. I didn't know it. I didn't know that they had that. Like, I'm considering buying a plane ticket to go to Retro Taku right now. Or maybe I should call them and ask them if they still have it and have them ship it to me.
Nah, just get the plane ticket.
That sounds like a really expensive way to solve this problem. They do shipping over, to other places, I think.
If you give them enough money, I guarantee you they will ship it to you.
Yeah, that's true.
So I will. Do you need me to like get the number for you and everything?
No, I can look it up.
We're just trying to get across just how good this show is. Okay, so the character that I like not the most, but like I think they've done the best job with so far is just that side character Mickey that's in the class with them. Now I'm sure his name wasn't Mickey in the original. It might have been. I don't know, but or no, because it was based off a book. They probably used the names from the book, so
Yeah.
probably was Mickey. He's like a pathological liar. So at one point, and we're thinking back on this like it's a kid show, and it was probably aired for kids when it played over here.
So when I saw it, it was aired at like 6 in the morning on Saturday morning and Sunday morning on TV Ontario.
Definitely for kids then.
Yeah.
It might have been TV Ontario that was always playing Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp as well.
It's possible.
I always thought it was PBS, but I could have been wrong. I forgot what I was saying.
The kid, Mickey.
Kid. Oh yeah, the kid. Oh, so he's a pathological liar, and at one point, the main character is a bit late for school, and he comes running up to her friend, and he's like, "She's not going to be coming today. It's horrible. She fell off of her horse and broke her leg." And her friend's like, "What?" And then he's like, "Yeah. She broke both of her arms and her neck, and she was crying like a baby." And it's just like, wow. Okay, and he's like this throughout the whole show, just telling these outrageous lies, and they're all like, he's not telling the truth. He can't be." It's a much deeper character than you get out of most cartoons, especially for that era.
Yeah.
Like I've been going through the original Heathcliff lately, and there's some character to the characters, but they're basically like, they're not cookie cutter, but they are the same character every time you're seeing them. They're kind of acting the same way. I know the Bush Babies is full of personality. The second episode where they finally get the Bush Baby to drink its milk because they're all afraid it's going to die because its mother died, and they're all trying to feed it. They finally get it to drink the milk, and the mother's like, "Oh, can I try?" And Jackie tells her no, and so the mother gets this pouty look over her face, and that's like how the episode ends. She's just absolutely brilliant. It's the current year, and I don't believe we don't have more shows like that.
I know, right?
It's just mind-boggling. It was from a time when shows were both, when shows could be, they could have interesting characters, good stories, be really dramatic at times.
Well, like there's a lot of tension too. Like when, have you seen the episode yet where they're catching the rhino?
I have not. That's I'm
probably the next one.
Yeah, I'm 3 behind you.
Yeah,
we're like just going through them over the next week so we can talk about them more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and above all, it's charming. That's one of the things that like you don't see too much of nowadays, unless it's one of those Moe Girl 12-minute comedies at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the charm is just gone from these shows. It's the current year, and everything is dark, by gum. But it's so refreshing because, I've been trying to like find things on Netflix to watch, and every single show is the same, depressing, boring. The characters never maintain their character anymore. It's just like, well, I'm gonna do what's right for, say, my family, and then like 3 episodes later, my wife cheated on me, and now I'm going to not be good for my whole family. I'm just gonna be like some bum, and then it's like 2 episodes after that, me and my wife are cool again, and then they eventually get divorced and end up with other people, and then they start coming back around in like 2 seasons later that now they're together. It's just stupid stuff like that all the time. It's basically written for emo kids and teenagers, but they're all the adult shows. So it tells you how much the level of maturity in this country has diminished. Seriously, The Bush Babies is a more mature show than like 90% of what's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And not in terms of content, just in terms of, it's like it's written by an adult.
Yeah. Well, so I've been watching the Mahler commentary on the last 2 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Those were hilarious. When he kept going back, he just
released one for episode 4 just a day or so ago.
Yeah, when he kept going back to the dog over and over again.
Yeah.
He knows how to make a review entertaining. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I watched 7 seasons of the show. I didn't really like any of it. There were definitely parts earlier on that I thought were better. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those ones where like the first season I thought was the best, and then it was just all downhill from there. But it had its ups and downs, and then it got to the 7th season. The 7th season was just boring. Like, I don't even want to say it was bad. It was just like nothing interesting happened. Mm-hmm. And then when the new season was coming out, I was like, well, I'll do what I usually do. I'll wait till it's over, then I'll watch it all in one go. I don't have to now.
Yeah.
First off, I had a feeling that it was going to fall apart, but I had no idea that it was going to fall apart this badly. like I wouldn't have even imagined. Like, if someone had told me this is what they're doing, I would have thought that I was just being trolled by people.
Yeah, right. Well, no, I mean, like I was watching his commentary on episode 3, and he's just talking about like the tactical mistakes that they're making. It's like, what the hell happened here?
This whole show was much better done in terms of things like that. Like, I won't say that there weren't times where the characters didn't do stupid things that might not have made sense at the time, but nothing to this extent. Nothing to the extent that, like, we've got an entire fleet is our biggest threat right now. Why don't we just stick to land? And nope, they don't do that.
Like the best part is that he keeps throwing in those clips of the interviews with the writers, and the writers are like, yeah, so and so just kind of forgot about this thing. Yeah, that's what happened. That's how it makes sense. And then they're like, oh yeah, this guy, he wasn't really listening here. It was he's just kind of standing there, and it's like, you wrote this character to be inattentive at this crucial moment. Yeah.
You're the writer. You know what happened. Don't lie to me.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So I don't even have to watch it now. Like, it would be a disappointment to watch it after watching.
It would be a waste of time.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, what YouTube has done for society at this point is they've made it so that some guy in his basement can produce a more entertaining version of the thing that an entire studio worked on. I mean, take The Last Jedi, for instance. I would never watch that movie again. It was boring, and, the characters were uninteresting, yada yada, the deal. But I could probably watch the video that he put together explaining all this about 20 times and not get bored with it. It's funny too, because it's like I was watching this and just thinking back to when I saw the first of the new Star Wars movies, and I was sitting in the theater just like, I don't like these characters. They're not doing anything, and whatever they're doing, they're not like following any consistency in their own narrative. And I told everyone this when we left the theater, and some people were like, oh no, this is pretty good. I like this is the new Star Wars, and some people were like, I mean, it wasn't my favorite, and I was like, yeah, okay, but like, does anyone else feel that way about the characters? Like, Rey just got her powers out of nowhere, and suddenly she was able to escape, and like, so what were they even rescuing her for? And I think that was the part that bothered me most. Was just that, after setting up the bad guy and having the main character get captured, you're thinking, okay, well, there's going to be a rescue, or she's going to have some daring escape, and it's just like, oh no, she can just use the Force now. It's like, what a cop-out. And it bothered me for the rest of the movie, to where I was like, well, they're going to explain this, right? And then they never did.
No.
And, like, in the second movie, they never did.
Yeah. Well, they also like had that one character that had Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, and it's like, I'll explain later. No, you won't. You're never gonna explain that.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that by the time the second movie came out, and then I watched the second
Yeah.
movie, and then I saw the Mauler videos, and I was like, thank God, at least one person agrees with it. And then it turned out that there were actually tons of people that agreed with me. So
Yeah.
that was a mess, though. It was just like there's the characters like don't like what happened to the pilot guy.
Yeah.
They started the movie with this guy, and I thought he was going to be the hero of the movie, and now there's been 3 different heroes, and I'm not sure which one I'm supposed to pay attention to.
Right.
It's like it was very clear in the first Star Wars movie. You had Han, Luke, and Leia, and it was very clear that Luke was the main character, and his story was the story that you were following. But you had Leia and Han, who were direct supporting characters that you were also supposed to care about a lot.
Yeah.
In this movie, it seemed like they kept switching around who was the main character and who I was supposed to, who I was supposed to consider the background characters or the supporting cast.
Yeah.
And I think that it was just like some neurotic thing where 3 different writers had 3 different ideas for main characters, and they were fighting amongst themselves for who should have top billing, and so they didn't get anything done. But not in Bush Babies. Bush Babies is great.
Yeah. It's really good. I am so freaking overjoyed that someone had a copy of that.
And we're never going to see that one ever put on television again.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe someday.
Oh, I mean, it's the current year. We can't.
I guess that's true.
I can't believe it's the current year and we can't just get better stories written, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So much is just not as current as the year. Like, I feel like the year is being current, but everything else is being dragged back by another current.
By an uncurrent current.
Yeah. A reverse current, if you will. There's some
Yes.
kind of weird Zener diode for the tides of time. I
The
don't
Zener diode is made of the sands of time?
How many metaphors are we mixing?
I don't know. I just heard that Prince of Persia game, the first one, was really good. I don't know what the other ones.
I never played the first one. That one was the one that had that flashback look to it, wasn't it?
Well, those were the first ones, but there was a reboot, and I think there was like 3 of them that were made that were like a reboot that were on modern consoles, so to speak. And I heard the first one was really, really good, but I never played it.
I remember hearing a lot of good about it when it came out.
And I heard the second one was horrible.
Yeah, the sequels nobody was really talking about as much. I just assumed that they weren't very good and never looked into them. But the first one I did hear was really good.
I did play the original one back in the day, like on a Macintosh or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because it had all the rotoscoped animation and everything, and it was really, it was just a really nice game to play. Hard too, really, really challenging.
It's one of the ones that I've never gotten a chance to sit down with yet.
I wonder if it's on GOG
It might be.
or Steam or something.
I know it's out there somewhere because I remember seeing it a while ago and questioning whether I should buy it. You know what I did get a chance to play recently? I finally played the so they released a beat-em-up collection on the Switch that had the Captain Commando game on it, and Sean picked it up, and I went over there to hang
really?
out with him, and we played through it.
That sounds cool.
It's always fun going to play those games, as he was saying. He's like, these games are all exactly the same, but they are kind of fun, and it's true. I mean, you can tell when you're playing that the whole point of the game was just to eat away at your quarters, but when they release the games, they give you the infinite lives option, so it's just like, okay, let's just see what this game is and play through it. I don't think there were too many of those games in the arcades that were set up to where you could actually win by skill.
Yeah.
I should have said something like, it's the current year and I can't play Captain Commando with quarters.
You cannot.
I haven't figured out what 2019 has to do with anything happening or not happening when all the good anime came out 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what was
Well, I
important.
wouldn't say all of it came out 23 years ago, but there were some definite gems.
Yeah. Well, there was a bit more of a tidal wave of just top quality stuff back then. Like, nowadays, you might get a really good studio doing a really good quality animation job on something that sucks, or something that's like 5 minutes long, and then there's the occasional, solid gem of a show. Like, I mean, the JoJo's have largely been good.
Yeah.
Index hasn't disappointed me. There's a new show, The Promised Neverland, that I've been enjoying. It's kind of funny. I was joking with Ramon because The Promised Neverland starts almost exactly the same way as The Bush Babies.
The Promised Neverland?
Yeah, it's a bit of a dystopian show. So like, I wouldn't say it's Higurashi level, but it's got that same kind of vibe to it. You're watching a show with these orphans, and they're all supposed to be highly intelligent orphans, and they're taking all these tests, and you kind of get the feeling that it's weird that they're doing all of this, but you don't really know what's going on yet. And then later on in the, I think in the first episode, you find out that occasionally one of the kids gets adopted, and so one of them gets adopted, and these two kids, she leaves behind her precious stuffed rabbit, and these two kids grab it and go running after her, and there's all these rules that they've been telling you this whole episode where these kids aren't supposed to go past these gates or anything, and so they're like, well, we're just taking her toy, it'll be fine, and they take it to these gates, and they're looking for her, and there's no one there, and there's just this truck, and they open up the back of the truck, and the little girl is dead. And she's just lying there, blood dripping out, and the girl is just looks at it and screams, and the boy comes running around. He's like, "What's going on?" And then they hear these voices, and they hide under the truck, and it's these demons that come out, and the what would her name be? The headmaster of their little orphanage. She's with them, and she's just talking business with them about getting more kids ready. Because apparently they're a delicacy, and that's why they're taking all these tests, because the ones with the most intelligent ones taste the best to these demons or something. But it starts out the same way, where it's like that one character is what was it, Doris in the Bush Babies? She was leaving for England again.
Oh yeah.
And so when they get to the point where she's gone and all the other kids are sad that she's leaving, I was talking about that with Ramon, and I was like, this is how The Promised Neverland started. Where's the show going? But I got to say that, a lot of those shows like The Promised Neverland, they get you with the shock value and the cool little horror story thing, and that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
But honest to God, The Bush Babies has drawn me in more at the current moment. It's just so refreshing to get back to that era of just making a fun, good show for the sake of doing so.
Yep.
Yeah. I got a plumb run out of ideas.
Well, I mean, I think that, shoot.
This is going to be a fun edit job.
Sorry. No, I'm just thinking we haven't actually finished watching the show yet, so we.
Oh yeah, we don't want to talk about that too.
We don't want to talk about
too much. So,
but
I mean, I've only seen 2 episodes, so we didn't get too far into it.
I think the timing of all this is so, such a fortunate coincidence. Like, we would,
It is some dark and mysterious hand. I was talking about this with Sean the other day.
Yeah.
So we've always meant to do that show where we talk about how everything I love disappears, and we kind of did in that that last one, or that one. But getting back to it now, there were all these restaurants and all these things that we went to a restaurant once, and this was long after the running gag of everything I love disappearing had been around, and enough people around me had witnessed it where they were like, yeah, no, it's true. If Justin loves a product or some kind of snack food, it will be
Right.
gone from shelves within a couple of months. And we'd been going to this Japanese restaurant in Ann Arbor called Miki's. And every time we went there, I was getting like fatty steak in my curry, and some of the food was cold. And everyone else loved the place, and I was just like, it's not bad, but I don't really care for the place too much. Let's go somewhere else next time. But like everyone else wanted to go there, so I was like, okay, well, I'll just go there.
Yeah.
And I went there one time. After about 5 trips, I go there one time, got a great meal.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, if they gave me food like this all the time, this would be great. I actually really like this. We could come here all the time. I'd never even want to go anywhere else in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And I think 2 weeks later, Sean is visiting Ann Arbor, and he's going to stop there.
Yeah.
He gets all the way to the door because they've always got stuff up in the windows, so you can't really tell if the lights are on or not. He gets all the way to the door, and there's a big sign on the door that says closed for remodeling.
Uh-huh.
And he called a few people. He was like, oh, guys, our restaurant's closed for a while. So like a month goes by. Someone else goes out to Ann Arbor. It's still closed. Another month goes by. It's still closed.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
It was like 6 months, and finally Sean was like, you said you liked it one time.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, most of the things that I hate stuck around Ann Arbor, but I had a theory recently, and follow me on this. Now, all these things that I love disappear, right?
Yeah.
But what's been happening in anime for the past 5 or 6 years? So even video games, like we can jump back a bit and say, we were talking about Knights. We never thought they'd make another Knights game. They made another Knights game, and I was like, well, that's something I like. That's something I like coming back. That's a little different.
Yeah.
And then they made another Slayers series. They had Slayers Revolution and Evolution R, and I was like, well, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it was, Shenmue 3 is coming out. Everyone was anticipating that one, but I was
New Sakura Wars.
the Sakura Wars game coming out. That one was the one where I was finally like, okay, maybe in exchange for all these snack foods disappearing, this is my reward, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I know, right? I sent you that picture and that text earlier today with the wheat thins.
Yeah, those will be the next one to disappear.
Well, so. You mentioned this in the last episode, didn't you, or did you just talk to me on that?
No, I did.
On the
I
phone?
did.
Okay, so there's this variety of wheat thins. The cracked pepper or something is what they're called.
Yeah, and I really like them.
And so, yeah, and so you really liked them. I went to the store today and I saw the shelf with them, and I was like, oh, I'll pick up a box of this. I bring it home and I take a picture of the lone box. I'm like, this was the last box at my Walmart next to a discontinued sign. You're like, it happened again.
I would have believed it too.
You actually went somewhere and looked for them, and you were like, no, there's 2 full shelves here.
Well, it was like just the previous day I'd been in Myers, and I'd seen 2 full shelves. They might be gone now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm cool with that because the hits just keep coming. There's a new Riding Bean series that's coming out. They did a Kickstarter for. Did you know this one, though? There's a new Gunsmith Catch that's going to be coming out after that.
Did not.
Yeah, that was just announced, I think, yesterday.
Well, yeah, it wasn't. Well, that was. I mean, they showed the episode at ASEN, didn't they?
No. It's a new Gunsmith Catch, like a new series.
No. I know. But one of the things that ASEN kept telling me about in my emails was that they had.
Oh, you mean this ASEN?
Yeah, this ASEN.
Yeah, no, I don't get their emails, so I didn't see that.
Oh, you don't get their emails.
Yeah, I heard it from Brandon, who I'm sure gets his information from like Twitter or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Possibly.
But like, yeah,
ASEN.
ASEN was sending me emails and documents and stuff, and they're like, oh, by the way, what's his name is going to be here again, and he's going to be showing the first episode of Thingamajig, and it's like, great.
Yeah, so that's cool. And on top of that, guess who's writing more books?
Terry Pratchett?
Terry Pratchett is not writing more books. Although, if I've been fooled all this time, I could totally see Terry Pratchett doing that, and I would only gain, I wouldn't lose any respect for him.
You said that there's a... You said that there's a new Gunsmith Cats Kickstarter? I don't see it.
I don't think the Kickstarter is up yet, but they announced that there's going to be a new series.
Oh, okay.
And if it follows the comic books, that will be fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a new series of books coming out. It's almost like the world is doubling down on giving me back things that I love.
Wait, from who again?
It's the Slayers. The original author of the Slayers novels is writing a new story arc in novel format.
That's awesome.
It's very awesome. And I'm getting to the point where these novels are getting easier and easier to read, so it's...
Slayers novel original series long-awaited 16th volume set for release. Holy hell.
Very long awaited. I've got the first one. I think it was published in what, like 90... God, I don't even remember.
The first one was published in 1990.
Yeah.
Oof.
It does not get better than that.
I gotta pick these up. Why don't I have these? Do.
So we're gonna try and drag Ramon in here again and do a. we're gonna have a recording threesome.
Sounds good to me.
Of course, it's good for you. You live 1,000 miles away.
Yes.
So during our little rape recording, we're going to discuss 90s anime again because apparently Ramon has been looking up a bunch of different shows and stuff, and he has some things he wants to say, and the things he has to say are usually pretty interesting. So
I have a slight feeling of slight feeling of fear. I'll just say that.
Possibly, but like seriously though, so he'll come over like once every 2 weeks on a Tuesday. He works a lot, so he'll come over on like a Tuesday, and we'll watch a couple of hours of like old shows and things, and he'll always have found some show that I don't even remember or haven't ever seen before, like something out of like 90s anime, and he'll be like, check this out, you might not have seen this, and then he'll have all these facts about it because, I just sit down and watch stuff. So whenever I'm talking about it, I'm just telling you exactly what I'm seeing, like what's in front of me. I don't really research stuff that much. And if I'm giving you a lot of facts about something, it's usually because it's something that I've liked for 5-10 years. And so I've already come across that information, just, happenstance. I don't put much effort into it, but Ramon, he'll look stuff up, and he'll look up dates and names and all these other things, and he'll just have all these different stories about what happened in like the comic industry with comic artists and things. He's much better and much more diligent at that than I am.
I just found the 1 through 15 complete set of Japan Slayers novels on eBay.
Really?
Oh yeah.
In Japanese?
Yeah, the Japanese ones.
Okay, yeah, the English ones are a bit harder to find. They had a really limited print run.
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, they did the print run years after the show was even popular, so like it didn't even get a chance to take off.
Oh man.
So I had to pay like $20 to get a copy of the first book, and I haven't picked up any of the sequels yet.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be picking up a copy of that, and I'll definitely be... I've got kind of a list going of novels that I want to get from Japan. The Dirty Pair is pretty high up on that list. The only reason I haven't already gotten them is because I have the English translations of the first 2 books.
Yeah.
They never did the other 3, so I have to pick those up in Japanese.
Oh, you know what I should... you know what I would like to mention to you is that one of those books that I got a couple of weeks ago when I was in San Jose at Kinokuniya... it's what's his name?
Haruhi Murakami?
Yeah, Murakami. I got Murakami Radio, Volume 1, and it looks like it's a really good, like, lightweight kind of practice book. It's like the first, like, it's like a collection of short, like, anecdotes by the author. The first one is basically he walks into his room, and he opens up his closet, and he finds a suit in there, and he's like, I never wear suits. Why do I have a suit? And he basically just reminisces back to when he lived in Rome for a while, and he was like, I need to start buying some suits.
Yeah, he's a strange character, judging by the things that I've read in his books. I think
yeah,
like I'm never sure because I don't do my research. I think he
Right.
did a biography of some musician, but I'm not sure if it's an actual biography of a musician or if it's one he made up. It sounds like it's an actual biography, though.
Uh-huh.
And he's good at writing the tone of something.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's times where he gets really, really boring. So, like, one of his most notorious works is not 1984, that 1Q84 book.
Yeah.
Essentially the
Well,
same thing.
That's one of his most recent things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually, I'm halfway through it and it's gotten really stale.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some tension and mystery to it, but it's definitely not as good as 1984.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's kind of the same idea, though. I mean, it's not the same story. It's more about. It's more about this commune and some weird things that are going on surrounding it. So it still has that aspect of dystopian nature to it,
Uh-huh.
and it also has this weird element of. He's teasing the idea that perhaps everyone's living in this alternate dimension.
Uh-huh.
But it has failed in several large attempts to keep my interest with anything happening. It's a lot more exposition than it is, drawing you into the story. On the other hand, what was that book called? After Dark, the one that I
Yeah. After Dark.
That's one of the best stories that I've read out of Japan.
Uh-huh.
And it's not even a story about it. Like it's almost a return to classic Japanese folktale,
Yeah.
where there's no real ending or necessarily even point to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, here's a chunk of a story pulled out of the universe, and it really well told.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a good collection of books that are at a pretty easy reading level. I've got a junior edition of Natsume Soseki's Bochan.
Yeah, I actually just picked up Bochan. I have an English copy of Kokoro, which was really good.
Is that Soseki?
Yeah.
And then I've got the Crusher Joe books.
Crusher Joe?
The guy that wrote Dirty Pair, before he wrote Dirty Pair, he wrote Crusher Joe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was an OVA anime for it, I think. I think it was just 3 episodes. I watched them recently.
Yeah.
They're okay. I think Dirty Pair's better.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think that's probably... I've got a lot of kids' books and young adult books, too. Like, I've got that Pirate Girl Yuri collection.
Yeah.
And what a fantastic story to read as a kid. It's kind of like the Boxcar Children, but, like, I would have actually wanted to read it as a kid.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I've read the first volume. It was really good.
Yeah, it's just... I've got all 12 of the books, and they're really easy reads if you are, like, maybe slightly lower intermediate Japanese or something. I mean, there's like no big kanji that you have to worry about, basically.
Right.
So and they've got pictures in them, so they're definitely for like a 10, 15-year-old audience, maybe.
Yeah.
15 probably be pushing it, but 10-year-old roughly. And the stories have such a wild premise, and yet it's just so down to earth with kind of a formulaic way of telling if you've read more than one, but it is fun every time because it's supposed to be a story about these pirates and these 3 kids that are pirate apprentices. The one was a princess and her parents were killed, and so she ends up joining the legendary pirate girl Yuri, who has been around for way longer than she should for how old she looks, and it turns out that she has like this stone that can control time.
Yeah.
And she's in this ceaseless battle against some guy who also has a similar stone. She wants to destroy the stones because she and that guy came from the future. They were scientists that had they were working on time travel and using these stones, and she's trying to destroy them now. So that never happens and the world doesn't end up exploding, because they basically destroyed the world in their own timeline. And she stays young because she's using the power of the stone to stay alive until she can find a way to destroy them. And she has a first mate that's actually, it's like this big looking dude, and then they get into fights all the time, and he's the muscle of the group, just nobody messes with him. And it turns out that he's a robot.
Yeah.
So it's just like you're in this piratey atmosphere, and you're kind of looking at it through the eyes of this main character that doesn't really understand things about the future.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's finding out that there's these mechanical men and all these things that look like magic to her. It's a neat little universe that someone created.
Yeah.
I think I might have to finish those up, and we shall discuss them in detail.
Yeah, man, I wish I could find a set of those, because they were really. I would really like to pick up a set if I could find them.
Well, if you can't, I can rush through them and mail them to you. I know some of them were printed in English. I don't know how many.
Only one to three of them were. Not all of them. That's for sure.
I've been trying to find the English versions.
Yeah, the English versions aren't that hard to find.
They're
on Amazon.
Yeah, I've been looking in stores when I go.
Yeah.
I don't really need them, but if I came across them at like a used bookstore, I'd pick them up.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of other sets too. I've got this children's detective set.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 6 or 7 books.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every time I look at the cover too, I think of like the anime version of Newsies or something. That's about the era that it takes place in.
Mm-hmm.
Got a couple of the Index novels.
Yeah, I have a couple of those too.
The Spice and Wolf. A lot of the anime light novels.
Yeah.
Got about 70 of them that I haven't even read yet.
Yeah, I have a lot of books that I haven't read as well.
I went from having a collection of about 25 books that, I'd read 3 of, to having over 100 Japanese novels, and I haven't read more than like 6.
Right.
And on top of that, you talked me into buying all those Toho comics. When I say talked me into, you said, hey, look, Toho comics, and I bought them.
Except for the one that I bought.
Yeah. I don't even really read manga that much, but like it's easy reading practice, and it's Toho, so why not?
Yeah. I mean, all those comics are pretty dang good, too. Like, you read part of Silent Sinner in Blue as well.
I don't remember anything from it, though, because that was like when we were on the Contra Cruise.
Yeah.
I read a couple pages. I remember that there was an awesome frame where Marisa had that wicked smile on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the what's it called again? What's the Horned Hermit one called?
Wild and Horned Hermit?
Yeah, Wild and Horned Hermit. That's the one that you had me pick up. It's fun.
It's really good. And and there's a lot of it there too. Like, they're up to 9 volumes now?
Yeah.
With like 5 or 6 chapters per volume.
I think I got 6 of them.
It's still ongoing, so the 10th volume will probably be out in a few months.
And it's, at least as far
I
as
picked up a second copy of the 9th volume while I was in San Jose because I forgot that I already bought it.
You do that a lot. That's like your thing.
I do. Well, it's like it's better. It's easier for me to just buy it than it is for me to figure out whether I own it.
I've gotten so many video games that way, where it's just
Yeah.
like you order something and then it doesn't come out for 3 months. So like as it's getting closer to the time that it's supposed to come out, you're like, oh, I was going to order that. So you order a second one, and then you get 2 of them, and you're like, hey, Justin, have this.
That's happened with what, like three or four games at this point?
Yeah, I am spoiled mercilessly on my birthdays from you.
Completely unintentionally.
That's like one day you're just like, hey, do you want this? And you send me a picture of the Deus Ex collection for PS3 that comes with that almost foot tall statue.
Yeah. And you're like, what? Why? I'm like, I accidentally bought two. What do you mean you accidentally bought two? Well, so I ordered one on Amazon, and then the day that it was supposed to ship came and it didn't ship, and it said that it was out of stock, and I emailed Amazon and they're like, oh, we don't know when that'll be back in stock. We'll see. And so I went on eBay and bought another one, and then like 3 hours after I paid for the one on eBay, I got an email from Amazon. It's like, oh, it shipped. I was like, God dang it.
What was the one that just recently you sent me a copy of?
It was
It wasn't Labyrinth of Refrain, was it?
No, it was the Cthulhu Mythos dungeon crawler that Nisa came out with recently. The Lost Child, I think.
Lost Child. I don't remember playing this game. Did I never play it?
Unless it was the Labyrinth of Refrain that I accidentally bought two of. But I thought it was the Lost Child.
You know, I'm going to have to look through... That was on PS4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have all my PS4 games out here, and I do not see The Lost Child. It might have been Labyrinth of Refrain.
Maybe I did buy two copies of Labyrinth of Refrain.
But now I'm confused because I remember ordering Labyrinth of Refrain, but that's the only one that I could think it could be.
Well, so give me a second. I can look this up. Sales order? No, just open it. That's not it.
Other people podcast. We talk to each other about what we've bought.
What I've accidentally bought two of.
Patience, folks. Rudy's got this covered. This is going to be the best editing job I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
I think there's like a whole minute of silence at one point, and now you're looking up invoices.
Well, I mean...
We are on the scene live now with Rudy as he digs through his old receipts and ledger notes.
What did I buy two... Dang it, why is it so hard to find this?
Oh, on Nisa, they don't really have a good account system that you can look through.
No, I'm not. I'm on Gmail. I mean...
Oh, well. You know, it's 2019 and you can't find your orders. I mean, come on.
I'm sure that I can.
I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It's the current year, and you can't find the orders that you made, possibly last year.
It should be in my email.
Feel the tension as he digs through his email, wondering if he's using the right email at all.
Well, I know it's the right email. Okay, that's how I'm going to look. Okay, shipment. All right.
How can we get inside your head on this? What's going on in the mind of Rudy as he's looking for this receipt for this possible double purchase of this game?
That's that. Nelka. Liar Princess. Was it the Caligula effect?
Did you buy two of them?
I'm trying to figure that out.
I don't think it was.
Oh yeah. It's the Labyrinth of Refrain. I sent you that.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Because I have two emails right next to each other. They're like, hello, thank you for your order from Nisa Online Store. Here is your order number 10 blah blah blah. Here is your order 10 blah blah different number, and they're both Labyrinth of Refrain, and they're right next to each other in my email. Yeah, I bought that twice.
And that is how crazy he is, folks.
Well, I mean, I'm actually not sad that I bought that game twice. That game's amazing.
Yes, it is. Did we ever talk about that one?
I don't know if we did.
I think we did. I might not have.
I think we mentioned it.
We might not have put up the recording we did.
That's possible.
It's a good dungeon crawler. It gives you a lot of weird ways of dealing with the dungeon, like right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take very long before you're like breaking walls and stuff in the dungeon, which is totally new to me. As far as I've never really played a dungeon crawler where you can like break walls, and that's an integral part of the game.
Yeah, it's not like where there will be like a special wall somewhere where you can get a technique to break it down and get to a new area. No. They
It's
like give
it's
you
like every wall.
Yeah.
Pretty much for the first 2 dungeons.
yeah. It's
In the later dungeons, they do squeeze it down a bit, but like the first 2 or 3 dungeons, you can basically break almost any wall.
and a lot of it leads to some nice treasures and extras.
Some of it's really tricky. Like there's actually a way to get to this one area in the first floor of the first dungeon that you have to get to progress the story, and you have to break a very specific wall, and like it's not clear that it's that one that you have to break, and so like the way that I think a lot of people probably solve that is by falling down a pit and then making their way back up, but that's a lot harder than if you just find the right wall, it turns out.
Yeah, no, I think I remember the part you're talking about, and it's a good callback to the days of when a game would not explain to you where you're supposed to go next, but you knew that based on what you had just been given that you were supposed to use that somewhere to figure it out.
Well, this happens way after you get the ability to do it. It's like you're already halfway through the 3rd dungeon, but you need to go back to the first dungeon to get a specific thing.
Yeah, but it's very obvious that you've only really got one more option, and that's to break walls.
Yeah.
But yeah, the look of the game is great. The storytelling is fun, and
The battle system is really cool.
yes.
You get these things called covens, I think, or
Yeah.
pacts. No, you get pacts, and you put 5 pacts into your coven, but each pact can contain up to 8 characters.
Up to 8? I thought it was 3.
It's 3 in the front and 5 backups.
Oh,
Yeah, so there are some pacts that have like 1 character in front and 5 backups and stuff like that. Like it's bizarre. But like it basically allows you to make your party larger by choosing packs that have more characters in the front in the actual fight. And then you can have it actually turns out that you can have like support characters. Whether you have a support character in a specific slot can determine whether you can or cannot use certain techniques, or whether you can or cannot get certain bonuses from that pact. It's really cool.
yeah, it was really cool to mess around with. And the different ways that you can create your little puppets that fight for you.
Yeah.
They...
Oh, you know there are hidden classes in that game, right?
I was wondering about that. I assumed that there might be, but I didn't see any indication of it anywhere, so I wasn't sure.
I unlocked one of them. And there was also extra portraits and voices.
I did know about that.
Okay.
It's fun, though. It's one of the... It's probably the best one on PS4.
Yeah, it's really good.
I mean, then again, are there that many on PS4? I can't think of...
Well, they're starting to come out now, right? Like, Demon Gaze 2 was on PS4. The Lost Child is on PS4. There's quite a few of them now on PS4 dungeon crawlers that are, and they're improving, which is cool.
Labyrinth of Lost Souls is coming out on Steam.
Oh, wait, Labyrinth of Lost Souls?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
What was that one again? I must be confusing it with
I
something
might
else.
be using the wrong name. Something.
You mean the Wizardry game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Holy crap, there it is. It's on Steam.
Yeah.
It's planned release date May 29th.
I'm planning on picking that one up.
I already have multiple copies of it.
I have none, so ha.
So I bought the version on PS3, and then I also bought the Ultimate Wizardry Collection Japanese game for PS3, and that has this one as well as the sequel, which was the something of Lost Town or something like that. Yeah, and they're really. I mean, it's classic. It's classic first 5 Wizardry games, and it's fantastic.
I've got.
I mean, the one problem with the game is that there's nothing to do with gold eventually. Like, there's just nothing to do with it.
It's
other than turn it into experience points.
It seemed like it was the same for Wizardry Renaissance. Was that the case?
This is Wizardry Renaissance.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah, this is Labyrinth of Lost Souls. This is the Wizardry Renaissance game. Or this is the first game in the Wizardry Renaissance miniseries that included the Labyrinth of Lost Souls and the other one that I have that's like the something of Lost Town or whatever.
Oh, so I already have this.
Yeah, you have this.
Okay. Why did they give it two different names?
No, that's the name that it has. Like, if you look on your PS3, this is the name that it has.
Oh.
Labyrinth of Lost Souls.
I must not read things because they always say Renaissance when it starts. It's just like,
Well, that's because what happened was that a few years ago when this first came out in Japan, basically there had been a long period for which the Wizardry license was like in the hands of some weird company in like Quebec or something.
oh yeah, you were talking
And
about this in the recording that I just put up from a year ago, I think.
No, I don't think I talked about this one a year ago. But like.
No. In the recording that I just put up, the one that we were talking about the Bush babies, you were talking about this.
Was I?
Yes.
I just listened to it. I don't think so. I think that was a different recording. I listened to that one all the way through. Well, anyway.
I'm pretty sure. Now I'm going to have to go back and listen so that the next time we talk, I can.
Yeah. So there was a bunch of companies in Japan that thought they had bought like a license for the Wizardry name and title, and what ended up happening was that they like got basically people were like, no, you don't actually have the license. The license doesn't belong to this company because this company was supposed to pay royalties to this other guy, and this other guy hasn't been getting the royalties, so now he's trying to get the license back, and that makes your license not work anymore. So all of those Code Realize games, the ones that came out on PSP Vita.
Yeah.
Those are all like basically remakes of the Experience Zith series, of which there was a trilogy, and the Zith series before that was called Wizard.
He's got it right there.
I actually do, because Wizardry Zith, yeah. So there was a couple of PS2 games, Academy of Frontier and Unlimited Students. They have the Wizardry. I have copies of them. They have the Wizardry logo on them. They are from a company called Microsoft, which later on became Experience Inc. because Microsoft basically could not operate anymore because they had been, misusing licenses. But basically, these two PS2 games are Wizardry titles in which you play as a group of students in like a kind of future fantasy academy, and there's dungeons and paths and all that stuff and quests and everything. They play just like the Code Realize games. And they're really good, actually. I haven't played them in a while, and I probably should.
I've never played the Code Realize games. I've seen them.
Well, you've played the ones that came out on PS Vita, which are basically the same games.
Oh, those are the what were they called? Abyss?
Tokyo Abyss and yeah.
Stranger in Sword City?
No, Stranger in Sword City is a different series from the same company.
Oh, okay. So it was the Operation
There's two of them,
Babel
though. There's
and
Operation Babel and Operation Abyss.
Yeah.
That's right.
They were both good.
Yeah, they are effectively the three Code Realize games, or the three Code Zith games that came out on PC back in the day. And they're almost identical, except that they have newer art and a slightly different inventory system.
Yeah. Yeah, the art's pretty good in them. That's it's just different enough from standard JRPG that it's a different flavor, and plus the games are, it's like those games and Wizardry on PS3.
Yeah.
Renaissance or Labyrinth of Lost Souls, whatever. They're
the Renaissance was what they called the hey, we got this license back and we can make Wizardry games again. So it's time for us to have a Wizardry Renaissance. And so Labyrinth of Lost Souls was the first release, and then the something town or other was the second release.
Yeah, they're great games to just sit down and relax and play.
Have you played the PS2 Wizardry games?
I have one of them.
These are from a different company. These are called Bushin.
Yes.
Wizardry Alternative. And again, there are two of them. Only one of them came out here in the States, but I have the one that came out here in the States and both of them, the Japanese versions for PS2. And there's actually also like a Bushin Summoner that I don't have that I probably should pick up. But anyway, these are really, really good. These are by a different company. This company is Atlas. Atlas produced these. And the Bushin series is really, really good. Like they took the basic wizardry stuff and they polished the hell out of it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I started a game in
and the music is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, no, I've got.
In fact, the game that I've been playing recently, Xanadu Next, has very similar music to the Wizardry Bushin games. Kind of a lot of steel guitar, kind of folksy kind of stuff. Really good.
Yeah, I think I've got the. Because I remember you telling me at one point, because I had bought Bushin, a Japanese copy, and you were like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
you've already got that. You've got the English version of that."
Yeah, that's right.
But I did jump into it a bit when I first got it, and it was definitely different. Like I didn't actually understand it enough at first, so I kind of like got away from it. But
So the Wizardry Alternative games are cool because they have a new system for group attacks and group defense and group interference of enemy attacks. And so basically, all of your characters, depending on how long they fought together, how well they fought together, and also depending on other things like their alignment and their races and certain other special characteristics, they will gain affinity toward each other. And as that affinity grows, they will get access to different special abilities and stuff that the group can do that make combat work really well. So like one of the major problems that Wizardry had was that like there could be enemies that would just nuke the whole party and there's nothing you could do about it. It's like, oh, this enemy rolled a 3, and because it rolled a 3, it used this specific spell, and this specific spell means that it just wipes the party. Not much you can do about it. But the Bushin series, you could get abilities that would allow you to nullify enemy spells or enemy special attacks, and to do like combo attacks on enemies that would keep them stunned. And so if you knew beforehand, if you had some idea of what the enemy could do, you could cancel its spells or something like that. And it made it so that if you were smart and careful, there was nothing that would just wipe your party without you being able to do something about it.
neat. I gotta dive into that.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, what I really liked about Renaissance was just how it's a very relaxing game to play. Like, I mean, compared to say, compared to Labyrinth of Refrain, where the music is always like, loud and playing, and it's very colorful, and there's a lot going on the screen during the battles. It's Wizardry is just, sometimes there's not even noise. There's some battle music. There's the clashes and bangs of
so
steel.
the Labyrinth of Lost Souls doesn't have background music, except at the very starts of battles. There's a short musical sting, and other than that, there's no music.
Yeah.
Well, there's music in the town, but like, that's it. It's wonderful.
They're very atmospheric games.
Yeah.
Oh, we did end up finding something else to talk about.
Yeah, we did. You should really pick up Bushin for a while and play it. Just play the English version. They didn't. I don't think that they took anything out of it or anything.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It is one of my favorite PS2 games.
Shoot, well, I mean,
a while ago, Atlas had a contest / thing where you would tell us what your favorite Atlas game is, and we'll put you in the drawing for a thing. And I almost was like, Wizardry Alternative. That's my favorite one of your games. And they'd be like, what? We made what?
oh, if we're good.
I was actually thinking about picking one of their obscure Saturn games that I have.
Oh, I got a lot of those.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, God, I love Retro Taku so much.
Oh, man, it's so weird. It's like, between all of us, we've got such weird collections. Like, you've got this massive JRPG collection. all these really
Yeah.
good RPG games and like wizardry dungeon crawler style games. Sean has the like collector's collection. Like if there is a good game for Genesis or Super Nintendo or
Yeah.
Famicom or the Disk System, he has it.
I have practically every good game for Super Nintendo,
Yeah, and
and a lot of bad ones.
Kevin just has a massive collection of classic stuff that
Yeah.
like, it's you could just be like, oh Kevin, what's this? And he's got a whole story behind it.
Yeah.
And then everyone looks at my collection and it's just everyone sort of tilts their head and scratches and it's just like, he's got the weirdest collection I've ever seen. Like I don't even know, nobody knows what this stuff is.
From his collection, I can conclude that he is schizophrenic.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
One day I'm just gonna have to pull that collection out and we'll just go through the weirdness of it and discuss how weird each game is. Like
We next time I'm up in Michigan, I should we could do an episode where we just go through, where we just point a camera at the screen or put it on the card and put our voices into the microphone and just go through like 50 random
Jesus, Rudy, I think the
Famicom
word
games.
you were looking for was record.
Crap. I'm sorry.
Like we could we could hook the computer up to the thing, and then we can take the sound device and run a wire from that.
Yes, I meant record. Yes. Thank
I
you.
think that's the best I mean, I do that a lot where it's like I forget what I'm going to say, so it's just like no, I drag it out and I'm just like this and this and this. But that was just magical what you just did.
Well, I mean,
You
it's-
stream 3 times a week.
yeah, I know. I was trying to be a little bit more clear about what the plan was, but yeah, okay.
You visit here, we throw You Me Me Mix on the Sega Saturn emulator and
Yeah.
run it through the AverMedia card and record a show.
Well, if it's on an emulator, then we can just open broadcast it. But
Either or works.
yeah,
Actually, open broadcast is actually more difficult.
really?
So if I have the choice, I usually use the card because I can set it up to just press a button and it goes right to my stream, which I never use. And,
Yeah, so can I.
well, with the open broadcast thing, though, I found a lot of things where the window isn't sized right for the game that I'm trying to put up, and I have to mess around with it.
Oh, I see.
So, it's,
Yeah, you do have to play around with it to get it right, but then you just save it and it's good.
yeah, it does look really good coming out of open broadcast.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we've covered a lot of various and weird things there. I don't even know. We're just going to have to call this something like, I can't believe it's this year.
Yeah, I can't believe it's the current year.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I can't believe it's the current year. We're talking about wizardry.
I can't believe everyone else is not.
Well, we are insane.
Yeah, well, I mean, insane, superior to the rest of mankind. It's, what's the difference?
Tomato.
Timoteo.
Tomatillo.
Tamatomede.
Tama
Chameleon?
Chameleon?
Tim
Wow, I can't
Tom
believe that
the
worked.
Witch is dead.
Which old witch?
The Tim Tom Witch.
Tom?
Yes.
I got nothing.
You went off the rails on me, man.
I went off the rails on a crazy train into wizardry. I have to stop. I'm going to click the stop button now.
Clicking stop.